Sometimes your trips are these bucket list epic experiences, but sometimes the most memorable part of your trip are the little things that go in between. So today I want to talk about that. This is not the seeing the castle for the first time, the epic cruise, or the famous landmarks. Sometimes they're just these little moments. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. So thank you for tuning in. Today is my day 2 of being live every day. All right. So welcome. I appreciate you being here. Let's see. Let me make sure I have everything going. Okay. I'm going live every day. I'm still testing out the new eCam features, doing a couple things different on the back end today to see what that does. So thanks for being here. My wife is on a trip with her travel agency. It's their spring conference. And she got on the ship earlier today. So she is on the Norwegian Luna or Aqua. Yeah, so hopefully I'll hear from her later today and find out how that is going. But again, this is my day 2 of being live every day. And today is going to be all about travel experiences and those little moments. But first, I want to thank my friends over at eCam for making this possible. They are sponsoring this live series and leading up to Gathering of Nations, where they're helping support us there. So if you want to find out more about eCam and all these features that they have in their new version, go over to ecam.com/powwows. You get 15% off your first month. So appreciate them and their support. So let's talk a little bit today about travel experiences. Now, we've had some incredible travel trips. And, when we talk about epic trips, here's, oh my goodness, hold on. Yeah, like this one. This is probably one of the most epic things we've ever done. And now I'm seeing that that's not working on vertical. Anyways, that's a picture of us at the what's that place called? At the oh my gosh. It's the chapel, Sistine Chapel. My gosh. Wow, how did I forget that? Anyways, at the Sistine Chapel, that's one of those epic memories that we have, but there's so many more that happen that aren't that same thing. There's little moments. So I want to tell you about some of those today. And what I want to remind you of is, even though if you're planning these bucket list trips, maybe you got to make sure that you leave time, schedule in some free time, schedule in breathing room in between the big stuff, because sometimes that's where these little accidents happen that might be the moments that you'll remember and you'll talk about forever. So these are 3 of ours today. 2 of them involve food. And so Lou out there, if you're watching, my friend Lou is always making sure he talks about the food on travel. So dedicated to you, Lou. Got to talk about the food. So moment number 1, and let me flip this back over. This was at the end of a trip. This is Brooke's graduation trip to Europe. And this was a long trip. I think we ended up being gone for like 20 something days. And we had done an adventure by Disney. We did a day at Disneyland, flew back to Rome, got on a Disney cruise, and then afterwards spent a couple of days in London. It was crazy. And we were exhausted by the time we got to London. So the first day in London, we planned out some tours. We actually went to the Harry Potter set and saw all the sets, and that was crazy. It was an incredible experience. And day 2, we actually had some things booked. Yeah, and I see somebody saying the screen isn't visible. It's something I got to work on inside of eCam. I've got to figure out how to get the screen share in both places. I'm going to work on that here in just a second. Anyways, but with the rest of the story, sorry about that. But so that second day, we ended up canceling. We had a tour of, and kind of regret that we missed this, but there's just no way. It was going to be an 8-hour excursion, and there was no way that any of the 3 of us would have made it. But it was going to go to Stonehenge and then to the Queen's Palace, her one that she has out of town. Forgot what it's called, but we would have seen all that. So we canceled that and we decided that we were just going to walk around our hotel and just kind of explore London. And again, one of these little happy accidents, we ended up um, finding this little street. And one of the things I love about London and want to go back and explore this more is their international food scene. We had heard was incredible, and we found it. There was a street close to our hotel. They had, it was in between two blocks, and they had it barricaded off. Looked like it was permanently barricaded off. So this whole street was nothing but restaurants with outdoor seating, and everybody hanging out and just eating. And we were at the end of our time, and we were being adventurous. So we went to a restaurant we probably wouldn't have been to. And I don't even know if we have one of these in Columbia or Lexington. It was a Lebanese restaurant. And we went in, told the guy, hey, look, it looks good. But we don't know what to order, and they took care of us. We had some amazing dishes. I can show those, but they're not going to show up on Facebook. We're going to work on that right now together, because this is what we're doing here, right? So I bet I can get this to work. So we need this overlay and put it over here. Secondary display, and we're going to make it tall. Look at that. Look how easy Ecamm makes that. And boom, we have video on both Facebook and YouTube. And I can even, let's add another one of me. We're going to drag this over here. We're going to lower it down, and so you can still see me on Facebook. Okay, cool. Anyway, so here's the restaurant. There's their menu. And I don't remember what we ate, but we just had the best time trying lots of dishes. Here's what Kelly had. She had this wrap. It was awesome. That's another story. Hold on. Don't get too ahead. It was really incredible. Some just great food and great service. Absolute blast. That was one we will remember for a long, long time. Okay. And now I have to figure out, take that down. My daughter's calling me. Sorry about that. Obviously, she's not watching Facebook. She doesn't know I'm live. Okay. So let me take this down too. Okay. All right. I'm learning all this in Ecamm. We're going to work it out. Told her, give me 5 minutes. Anyways, story number 2 was, let's see. Story number 2 is, this is on that same trip. And one day I need to tell the full story of what happened to us going from our Adventures by Disney to Paris. But that's a whole nother story, and I need to do a series of some of our travel stories. Chad, hello, man. What's going on? Thanks for tuning in today. Appreciate that. But this was... we were supposed to have 2 days in Paris, but ended up only having one because of all this travel craziness that happened. So we knew that day 2 was already scheduled. We had bought our tickets to Disneyland Paris. Couldn't change that. So the day, what ended up being our travel day, we only had like the half day after we flew in to kind of explore Paris. So we decided that we would take an Uber down to the Eiffel Tower. And we just went down there and explored around. It was absolutely gorgeous. And just walked around, got some great photos. It was really, really cool. And then we decided to just walk around that area. And again, these are one of those moments that you absolutely don't know what's going to happen. But again, we found a restaurant. Have no idea if we were in a good time, a good part of town or not. Don't know what the restaurant, we don't know if we were overcharged or what, but we found this restaurant. It looked nice. We sat down, had this incredible French meal, great wine, great food. And that's, again, those couple of hours around the Eiffel Tower, some of our favorite from the trip. And it was because it was just that moment that you never knew was going to happen. And especially coming out after a crazy travel thing that happened. And all the cancellation of plans and all of that. So that was really cool. Number 3, and I want to get ready for this. So this was number 3 moment is from our transatlantic cruise. The first time we did transatlantic, all three of us went, and it was it left out of Miami, 6 days at sea, and then we arrived in the Azores. And so, we've been at sea for a while, and this is our first day to get off the bus. We had an excursion booked, and we spent the morning, several hours out on a boat doing whale watching. That was really, really cool. We found tons of whales. I got some awesome photos of, the tails breaching and these pods of whales. Man, that was a really, really cool experience. And we had heard some of the people talking about that we were in the Azores during this festival, but we didn't really know what it was. They were just people saying it's really, really cool that we're here during this festival. Okay. Well, we had some time after the excursion ended, and so we decided to wander around the city, and we found the festival. And wow, I forgot to look up before our show started what the festival was, but for this festival, they have these molds that they put on the street that you can see here, and some of this are wood shavings that they dye. Some of it is tree trimmings, like that's pieces of fir trees. Some of it had flowers. And so the businesses and the people that lived there, they would take care of the stuff right in front of their store. And these patterns went on for blocks and blocks and blocks. So you can see here some of the ones with flowers. So this is the street, and we were just wandering around these streets of the Azores, and then came upon this. Super, super cool. Another moment that we never would have found had we not planned for that little bit of moment. So the point of today is to remind you that, yes, moments like this, having 45 minutes with just our tour group inside the Sistine Chapel is probably one of those epic moments that we'll never, ever forget. It's some of these other moments that can make or break your trip too. And it's those accidental moments. So remember to plan for those. Jeff C., hello, friend. Thanks for tuning in, man. Appreciate you. And now my wife is calling me, and apparently neither one of them realize I'm live on Facebook, but that's okay. But anyways, that's the moment. Thanks Ecamm for their support. Remember to go to ecamm.com/powwows to find out more about that. And appreciate you. I'll be live back again tomorrow, and we'll work on some more things. Today I streamed live to Facebook in vertical only, and then YouTube vertical and horizontal. So we'll see what happens and which ones work and how this goes. But thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you. Have a great weekend. I'm cutting it short because I've got some guys showing up in just a little bit. We're going to have a poker night tonight. So sorry for a short little live. Have a great weekend, and cross your fingers that I win some cards tonight. See ya.